Utah, we have LaunchUp.
First, we start with our AMP session. And tonight, our AMP session is Dave Bateman. He's the founder and CEO of Property Solutions and a couple of other projects. And I'm really excited to have him come and talk to us tonight. He talks about somewhere on one of your on-run profiles about being a code monkey, and that was the best thing that I think you taught yourself, some of these things, and kind of entrepreneurship came out of that. So I'm excited to have Dave tell us some lessons learned and teach us a little bit about entrepreneurship.
All right. Well, it's good to be here. I am ashamed to admit I didn't know about LaunchUp until today. But now that I see what the focus is and what the direction of the group is, I'm super excited to be here. They told me that it was the AMP session, so I thought it would be really cool to download Thunderstruck by AC/DC on my phone and play it into the mic for a few minutes while I was getting ready to speak. And after I downloaded it, I realized it was the karaoke version. And while I am possibly qualified to speak about entrepreneurship, definitely not qualified to karaoke Thunderstruck by AC/DC. So I'll spare you all the pain of that. But no, I'm really excited to speak. I got my entrepreneurial start back at BYU in 2000. I had just got off my mission and actually saw an old mission buddy here tonight, which was fun to see. But I just had got off a LDS mission, and I was in a class, and it was starting entrepreneurial ventures, and the professor was Rick Farr, and we got into the class, and the whole purpose of the first day of class was to help people understand how to come up with a business idea. And so the basic message of the class that day was the best way to find a way to start a business is to think of where you've seen consumer pain and find a way to solve it in a way that the consumer will pay you for. So I sat back and I thought, as a consumer, where have I felt pain? And I just got home from a mission, and the first thing I thought of was the pain of waiting 3 weeks to get a letter from my girlfriend. And so I'm like, okay, how can I spin this into a business? So anyway, I ended up starting this little website called dearelder.com, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not, but basically, the whole point of it was to speed up letter delivery to missionaries and let friends and family of missionaries go onto the site and submit a letter. And this is probably a lesson on how to not be an entrepreneur, but I had no business model whatsoever. At the time, I remember I was in a class while I was trying to get this business started, and it was an ISIS class at BYU. I was in the business school, and I had an assignment to go set up a Hotmail email account. And I remember I was just like, I can't do that. I have no idea how to set up a Hotmail email account. Are you kidding me? And so anyway, I got past that hurdle, and I needed to start this business. So what I did is I went out and I called up my sister and I said, hey, I'll give you 10% of this business if you'll give me $1,000. And she promptly turned me down and said, tell you what, just pay me back, which ended up being a really good thing. But so I took this $1,000 and I went out and I found a programmer and I had him start coding the website. And I realized within a day or two that $1,000 was going to be gone before I had a homepage. And so I thought, the only way I'm going to do this is if I roll up my sleeves and learn to code myself. So I called up all the web design shops around town, and I asked them if they'd let me just come work for free. I just wanted to learn to build a website with some back-end functionality, simple database functionality. And I got turned down by everybody, and I finally found this web design firm out in Alpine that would hire me, and they even paid me $10 an hour. So I went out, I started coding, learned how to do code simple PHP with back-end MySQL database interaction, LAMP stack environment. And so I got into it, I started coding and realized that I had a huge passion for automating business process through web-based technology development. And so I spent about 18 months doing nothing but coding the heck out of this site. I wanted to automate every facet of the business, and I ended up doing it. And so the site's pretty much been on autopilot for about 8 years now. I try to limit my time on the site to about 10 hours per year. And I did come up with a business model finally for that site, which is what's been able to sustain it. But as I was building that site, my wife was working at a property management company in Provo, and I'd go in and I'd bring her lunch and I'd see, this little dinky website that I'd created was just automated to the hilt. And this apartment community that was bringing in millions of dollars a month in rent collections had paper ledgers and all these antiquated systems for managing their property. So the idea popped into my head, hey, maybe there's an opportunity in this space to jump in and create a business and figure out a way to bring some automation to the multifamily housing industry. So I wrote a business plan, submitted it into the BYU business plan competition, ended up winning that, got about $25,000 in startup capital from that. I went on and competed at a national competition called the MBA Showdown that was sponsored by Fortune magazine, and we ended up winning that competition and getting another $50,000 in financing. So between the two business plan competitions, we kind of had money sitting in the bank and realized that a lot of people were going to be ticked off if we didn't actually start the business. So we ended up getting it going, got it cranked up, went through a lot of pain in the first few years, but eventually did get the business going. About 4 years into it, the business just took off. We've had exponential growth for the last 3 years, and I have about 150 employees today. We service about 1.6 million apartment units throughout the United States, or about 7,000 apartment communities. And we're just having a blast. We're just cranking out products left and right. I've been very involved in the coding from day one for the product that Property Solutions has created. I feel like business strategy for a technology company starts with the database. The database architecture dictates the way you sell it, the way you position it. Everything about your company and your product, to me, starts with the database architecture. A few takeaways that I've had. What's time at right now? Am I running out? 4 minutes. Okay, good. I just wanted to share a few takeaways that I've had in growing my business that I'd like to pass on to you, and maybe it'll be helpful, maybe not. But I've seen a lot of interesting trends in the way that people start up and finance technology businesses in Utah. And I've seen, the typical model is I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some angel financing, and I'm going to, spend that money, and then I'm going to maybe do another, depending on how well the business grows, I'm going to do a couple more rounds of angel financing, and then I'm going to do a VC round, and then I'm going to do another VC round and another VC round. And I've seen this pattern of people, they take the approach of, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to start it up quick, I'm going to sell it in 3 to 5 years, I'm going to raise a bunch of money. And I've had a lot of good friends that have started, what I consider to be pretty great businesses. But the financing model that people are using to start their businesses has just diluted the heck out of their equity position in the company. And I've seen, I've had friends who they even put seed money into their businesses, and they have less than 1% ownership in their companies today. And it pains me to see that, because I've seen the entrepreneurial drive, I've seen the energy behind what they've tried to do, and they should be rewarded for that, and they're just not being rewarded. And I think there's this pervasive feeling that, entrepreneurs, we want to go quick, right? We want to get things moving as fast as we can. And I think there's a lot of businesses that you can go a little bit slower. You can bootstrap it yourself. You can find ways to create value and grow without necessarily having to go get external outside capital. To me, one of the things that makes a great business is the amount of capital that you have to put into the business. And so I'd say look for business opportunities that they'll be able to grow through word of mouth, or you'll be able to create them without a lot of upfront capital infusion. The internet makes that so possible. I've met so many people that just out of their garage have created great businesses, extremely profitable businesses. So I guess some businesses definitely require a lot of capital, but don't be too quick to go down that path, because it can end up hurting you. When I said our first 4 years were tough, it was because we bootstrapped the company. I don't know how many of you guys know Paul Allen, but he has a concept that he calls penflation. And when you start buying fancy pens in your business, that means you're raising too much money, you're spending too much money. So make sure you don't fall victim to penflation. I'd say the next the next quick thing that I just wanted to touch on was just roll up your sleeves, get into it. I was so happy to hear when you introduced the session that you love to see entrepreneurs that are willing to roll up their sleeves and actually get into the technology, be the technician. And I think that's such an important concept. Hard work is such a critical portion of launching a business. So definitely encourage you to be involved, get into the thick of it. And then lastly, I'd say, I feel like there's a fairly significant assault on the free market right now in the United States. And I feel like there's a lot of things politically that are happening that are very toxic to an entrepreneur. I heard recently that 1 out of 6 people in the United States today are receiving some sort of government assistance. I've heard that the average, right now, the the unemployment benefits extend 99 weeks now. And within 1 week of those benefits expiring, 1/3 of the people that are receiving unemployment benefits they have a job, which means that people are waiting till their unemployment benefits run out. The structure that we have today, it's just becoming more and more biased toward entrepreneurs. We pride ourselves on living in a free country, and we latch onto those ideals. And I feel like a society that overtaxes its citizens cannot be a free society, no matter if we can have free speech and whatever. I've heard before that if you want to know what somebody really values, look at their checkbook ledger. You'll see what they spend their money on. When we don't have the freedom to spend our money the way we want to, when we're overtaxed, it limits our freedom, it limits our decision making. So I guess just, be involved politically, make sure that we preserve the environment that fosters entrepreneurship and company growth. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.